So we're getting closer and closer to the summer in 2021, and that should be great news for any Nintendo fan and any gamers out there, because we typically see the biggest announcements at the big summer shows like your E3s, and then also we now have Summer Games Fest to keep track of. So in today's video, we got to talk about when will Nintendo potentially present their main E3 style direct, and will it be a part of E3 or will it go to something like a Summer Games Fest in the year of 2021? What's up, Nation? If it's your first time on the channel, make sure you join Sunbro Nation by subscribing below, hit the like button on this video if you enjoy it today, and make sure you turn on your bell notification icon so you're kept up to date with all the newest gaming news. Now guys, as I stated before, we are getting closer and closer to the summertime, and we have a lot of fantastic game announcements to look forward to. We already know to expect Pokemon Snap at the end of April this year from Nintendo, and then we also know to expect Skyward Sword HD to release on July 16th. But outside of that, we don't have a very clear picture of what kind of titles Nintendo may unveil to us at something like an E3 direct presentation. And we do have to talk about, to start the video, on the likelihood of if Nintendo will participate in this year's E3 or not, or if they may feature around the same time as something like a Summer's Games Fest. So for any of you that are not familiar, E3 was totally canceled in 2020 due to the real world pandemic, and we did not see any kind of showcase for games in the traditional sense of when it comes to E3 specifically. However, Jeff Keighley, who is a very notable gaming announcer and has been, he normally hosts the Game Awards, and he has been like just all over the place when it comes to reporting on video games. He organized his own kind of like replacement for E3, if you will, by the name of Summer's Games Fest, and that actually launched for the first time last year, but it ran from as like starting in May all the way through August, so it was very scattered. Whereas this year we have confirmation that Summer Games Fest will take place all in the month of June, and this is a combination of all types of different games. So you have the indie developers all the way up to AAA studios, actually getting involved in this and holding their presentation as part of it. Now, I don't know that Nintendo will actually be a part of Summer Games Fest. It is possible. I still think it's more likely that they do a E3 style direct as they did in 2019, and it'll just be obviously the digital video presentation package like they've traditionally done. But what we do got to talk about is, regardless of where Nintendo chooses to hold their event, what can we expect from them in the third and fourth quarter of this year? Because we can probably expect some new titles in between now and the summer that we don't know about to release, but I don't think we're going to see anything major until the second half of 2021. And again, even if they make themselves part of Summer Games Fest, it's still going to be a Nintendo E3 style direct. So wherever it lands, it's all about the games that they unveil, and that's really the meat and potatoes of this video, because there is a lot of fantastic titles to expect, and I think that fans are going to absolutely be blown away by the heavy year of 2021. And there's a lot of people who are leveling expectations and thinking that we're not going to see much from Nintendo, and I definitely think the opposite, because we did see them have such a light year in 2020, and we also saw Nintendo in their investors meetings forecast a stabilization for Switch sales, which would actually be really hard to meet in 2021 when you compare that to their 2020 numbers. And that is because due to the pandemic and everything that went on, Switch sales skyrocketed last year, and if you guys remember, at one point in time there was even Switch scalping going on because you could not get the console in hand because of how crazy fast they were flying off the shelves, as more people wanted entertainment at home or on the go, and the Switch absolutely filled that need for a lot of people. So if Nintendo is forecasting to stabilize their sales the same numbers as they performed in 2020 into 2021, they obviously have a bunch of stuff up their sleeve. Now, one of those things could be the Switch Pro and the Switch Revision, and while I don't think we'll see that announced at their Summer Games event, I do think that we can expect that later in the fall, and then probably hitting store shelves as soon as October or November at the latest. That is my personal prediction. We already have Bloomberg going on record stating about the OLED screens being ordered from Samsung, and there's all types of reports out there. It's kind of one of those where there's smoke, there's fire situations here. I mean, there's obviously a bunch of people that are reporting that this thing is is going down, and so I do think we're going to see it, and most likely a targeted holiday window. The backup plan to that would be it slides into 2022, but I do think we see the Switch Pro this year. And then the other thing you have to think about is if they're going to launch something like a huge Switch Pro, is what are the games that are going to actually justify selling that system? Well, if you've been around on the channel, you already know that Breath of the Wild 2 is one that I do think we will see this year. I think Nintendo likes to keep things under wraps. We absolutely know we're getting more information on Breath of the Wild 2 this year, and I think they just surprise us and give us a holiday time slot and a holiday window alongside a Switch Pro, because that's going to be the #1 console seller by far. But there's also other titles that Nintendo have not really put future iterations into that they could absolutely swing out of the park and just completely obliterate their sales targets if they do it. And that's games like a new 3D Mario that's going to be mainline, maybe similar to what we saw in Bowser's Fury, as that was a new direction for Mario games, and it kind of felt like a beta test of something that they're probably working on in terms of a new 3D Mario. And whether that be an Odyssey 2 or even like a Galaxy 3, who knows, or maybe it's just something all new, entirely from the ground up. Regardless, that's another title that would be a system seller, and I think we'll either see Zelda or Mario. I don't think it's super likely to have both of them launch in the same quarter, because that's just not typically how Nintendo would do that. I think they will space that out more, and we would maybe see Mario as like a beginning 2022 title. But there's other games that obviously Mario is a part of that still sell incredibly, and that would be a Mario Kart 9 being developed, because we are still running off of a Wii U port as Mario Kart 8 Deluxe continues to sell well, and I think Nintendo knows that they have a big enough install base and fan base that loves Mario Kart that they could easily release a sequel for this, and it's probably already done or getting close to done, because why would they not be working on it at this point? And so they could obviously pump out that to also sell systems. Then you have things like a new Mario Party, which has been a while since we've seen Super Mario Party at this point rather. So I do think that that's another title that could help sell this system, in addition to your Donkey Kongs, maybe they make a surprise comeback for Star Fox and the F-Zero games. I mean, there's all types of franchises, obviously, that Nintendo is not putting a lot of focus on. And then I also think, in addition to all of those great titles that we may get information on, I do think that they could surprise us with something like more Zelda titles in terms of 2D remakes for Zelda games, 2D remakes for Metroid games, and then also, hopefully we do see the Twilight Princess and Wind Waker make it to the Switch as well as HD ports. So whenever you start talking about all of those titles and what that will do to the Switch's sales, I think it does make sense for Nintendo to forecast the numbers that they are, and that's why I am actually comfortable in setting my expectations relatively high for the type of software that we will see released for the Switch this year, and hopefully a Switch Pro revision as well. So I do think that that's something that we can actually really look forward to and get excited about at this point, because I think that this Direct that's around the corner, wherever it ends up, is going to be truly one of Nintendo's biggest overall showcases that they've had in quite some time. So I think that that's something to, definitely make note of and be ready for. And so as far as Summer Games Fest goes, if you guys are interested in that, they now have a website up where you can actually put in your email and phone number, and they will send you updates as different things get scheduled, because again, this is going to be spread out over the month of June. It doesn't sound like it's a 1-week event like what an E3 typically is. So with all that said, I do want to know from you guys what you are expecting. Are you thinking we are going to see a huge Direct presentation like I am predicting from Nintendo at the E3 time window? Also, do you think they're going to Summer Games Fest, or they're going to continue to hold it at E3, or maybe just do their entire standalone event by themselves? So make sure you let me know that as well. I do want to invite you all to vote in today's community poll, where I will be asking that question, where do you think Nintendo will end up having their event, and then also what kind of expectations you're wanting to see from that. So make sure you vote in today's community poll, and then also leave me a comment below with your thoughts, as I do look forward to getting a back and forth conversation started with you all around E3 and whatever Nintendo has planned for the summer showcase as far as their Direct event. Thanks so much for watching the video today, everyone. I do truly appreciate you all sticking around until the end. I do at this point in the video want to invite you all one more time to join Sunbro Nation if you haven't done so already. Do so by subscribing below, hit the like button on your way out on this video if you enjoyed it today, and make sure you turn on your bell notification icon so you're kept up to date with all the newest gaming news. That's going to do it for me, guys. I hope you all have a great day. Sunbro Nation, out.